Why is it that when you hear two different cover bands playing exactly the same song, one sounds okay and the other sounds amazing? They're both in time, they're both in tune. Why is it that when you play that lick or riff note for note, it just doesn't sound like Corey Wong, Melanie Faye, John Mayer, Hendrix? It's usually because of this one completely under-recognised and perhaps a little unsexy aspect of guitar playing and practice. Playing perfectly in time. There are figuratively tons of how to be awesome vids, but this massively important skill is rarely mentioned. Guitarists are all about speed. We're all swapping Instagram clips of Guthrie, Quail, Mancuso, and countless others that we're never going to trouble. But we struggle to recognise the one skill that every one of these great players possesses. It's the ability to play perfectly in time, regardless of genre, technique, speed. So, how do you practice with a metronome? Like this? Or like this? Now, I'm not saying those aren't useful or helpful practice techniques, although I do have some strong opinions on the validity of that second example. But I believe the most valuable use of a metronome is to do what drummers have always done, and that's to practice playing perfectly in time, to lock in, to build your ability to stay right with the beat regardless of what you're playing, to make that skill become second nature. Of course, some people just naturally have this ability, but most others have to strive constantly. So, how do we feed our undernourished sense of rhythmic perfection? There are two practical exercises of equal importance. Number one, pick a stock standard rhythm guitar part from a song you know inside out. Chuck your metronome on and play endlessly. Just try to focus to feel the beat and to lock in. Remember, it's not a speed or complexity thing, so play something that you don't need to think too hard about. You don't want to be concentrating on picking directions or string skipping or sweep picking or odd note groupings when you're trying to develop this skill. Number two, record yourself and analyse the results. Now, this is absolutely crucial. Without analysis, you'll just continue to play the way you always have done, and that might be a little sloppy Joe. One of my favourite passages to practice is Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, that funky guitar part by David Williams, I'm pretty sure it was. It's simple and hugely repetitive, but it's very unforgiving because it's staccato. It's almost percussive. It's like a percussive guitar part. So that's what I'm going to use here, and we'll have a look at those peaks. So check this out. I'm going to record myself playing absolutely cold. No warm-up. So how did I go? Let's have a quick look. This is the waveform, and those vertical white lines I've inserted to show where the notes should have landed if they were strictly in time. Straight away, we can see the first one was a fraction of a second late. The second note was spot on. The third one was early, so quite inconsistent right from the get-go. Then this one here is early. This one's kind of early, but there's a wave right on as well. This one's a touch early. This one's just a schmozzle. I think I hit an open string or something well before the note should have been struck. And the last one there, the wave is clearly early as well. So kind of playing more in front of the beat than on it or behind it, but all over the place. But look, that's just what happens when we hit record without sort of warming up or loosening up or getting into the vibe. So now I'm playing through the riff a number of times to try and lock right onto the beat. Okay, to take this to another level, once you feel like you're nailing it, then try to consciously play slightly behind the beat, but consistently. And now I'm trying to play behind the beat, just slightly, just that lazy feel. And yeah, I find the faces and the head movements really do help. And repeat the process playing ahead of the beat. And now I'm trying to play ahead of the beat. So let's have a look at what we got out of that. So these are much more consistent. Most of the peaks are right on or very close to the mark. None falling before it and, fractionally after. Okay, here we are playing behind the beat, and as we can see, these are pretty consistently just all a fraction after where the note should fall, according to the click. And these ones are before the beat, and we can see a fair degree of consistency there. There's one towards the end that's probably a bit early. The idea of playing slightly ahead or behind the beat is all about lending the song some feel and finding your pocket or sweet spot, but it must be consistent. How does a group sound professional and tight if everybody's on and off the beat willy-nilly? I love willy-nilly. So the top line is where I tried to play ahead of the beat. The center line is where I played right on, and the bottom line is where I played behind the beat. So you can see the difference there. But can we hear the difference? Let's play all three of those guitar takes together to see how much time we're actually talking about. Yeah, it actually sounds pretty cool like that, nice and fat. So we're clearly not talking about huge chunks of time here when we talk about playing before or after where the strict rhythm falls. Once you've warmed up, try doing it with something more sparse. Something with space and gaps in it challenges our motor skills because we don't have that momentum going to keep us in time. Always record yourself, listen, analyze the waveforms. Look for that peak. The way I think about this aspect of playing as a guitarist is that it's similar to playing licks. It's great fun, but our responsibility first and foremost is to the song or to our band's delivery of that song. So, just like understanding that we can't play our entire catalogue of stolen, our entire catalogue of carefully curated pentatonic licks on every song, just like we must leave room for the singer. Just like we know that we can't play a really cool lick over the drum fill in our band's cover of In the Air Tonight. Or harmonise the bass lick in You Can Call Me Al. We must also understand that we can't simply play it all over and around the groove throughout every song. Unless your name is on the top of the ticket, we must support the group, the singer, the song. Ideally, you want this to become second nature so that everything you play feels good. It's always a tendency that we have to rush exciting things, just like a young drummer speeding up throughout the fills. But listen to the great players like Derek Trucks, Tim Pierce, Matthias Asato, Van Halen. These guys just sit so beautifully in their sweet spot. Angus Young from AC/DC. Like, you hear a lick and you go, wow, that is so cool. And so you look up the tabs and, oh yeah, it's just that standard pentatonic bend at the 7th fret. Oh, cool. Hang on, I can do it. I'm doing it exactly like he does it, but why is it different? Why when Angus Young did that bend, did it knock me off my seat? Did it make my ears prick up and go, I have to learn that? And it's not just because it's that same D to E bend in the key of A that everybody's done a zillion times. It's exactly where he sits. It's exactly where his phrasing is in comparison to the beat. And you can't tailor your own phrasing. You can't bring in your own feel until you can confidently nail playing that solid rhythm right on the money. So in summary, this type of practicing must form a part of your daily or weekly practice routine. We all fall prey to practicing dexterity stuff more than anything else, and this is a form of dexterity. But playing the 9th mode of the augmental scale at Yngwie tempo isn't going to cut it unless it's in the pocket. Alright, please check out my channel for more cool and interesting stuff. Hit me with some comments, share. Love you guys. See you soon. There are figuratively...